Hey y'all, it's Elisha. Welcome back to Elisha's Crafty Hoblob. And it is Wednesday, otherwise known as Craft Day. And I was up bright and early because your girl fell asleep with all the lights on. Oh yeah, and the TV on. That tells you how tired I was, but I slept hard. And I normally don't sleep throughout the night, but I did all the way through the night. And I woke up early this morning. And the first thing I did, y'all, was I took care of what I call my alley administration. Again, I tell y'all, I have not received any of my orders. And so I wanted to go make sure that none of my insurance was expiring. So just a little reminder to y'all, don't let any of your orders expire. Several companies are offering a refund if they have not yet shipped out. I'm in a dispute with someone because I have an order since January that has not arrived and they're claiming it's shipped. And I'm saying, well, that's nice, but I don't have it. It's my first dispute actually since being on Alley. So just a little friendly reminder, just because I don't want any of you to lose money or your orders. I also want to draw your attention to something. I'm certainly, as I told y'all, I'm always going to be an Alley orderer, but a lot of shops have radically increased the cost of their dyes. And a lot of them have written to me and told me that they actually have to pay like $18 for shipping. And that's why because I wrote to one I've shopped with for a long time and said, why are your dyes, like a dye I've paid $1.50 for in the past is now $4.99. And they're saying I was going to order an extra of something. You know, with a small dye, sometimes, when you're first ordering your dyes, you don't think ahead. So like my little teeny bow dye, I should have ordered like 3 so I could run them through at the same time. But I didn't. So anyway, long story short is I asked them, why has it gone up? And they said, listen, we're paying for what we ended up shipping you guys. We ended up paying for it out of our own pockets. And that's why a lot of people are not giving money back on the disputes, because we didn't charge you guys what we paid, but they started raising all the pricing for us to ship to y'all. So I want to let you know something. If you are watching things like the current Spellbinders is not having their deep discount sale like they had a couple of weeks ago where dyes were $1, but they still have a lot of dyes on sale. And I noticed today that a couple of the dyes are within 50 cents of what the dye is on Alley. And that's actually for the original dye. So if you're watching the Sissick sales and you're watching the Spellbinder sales and the Crafter's Companion sales, the gap has really closed, y'all. So make sure that you're checking these things. Now, my one frustration with Crafter's Companion, or the ones that are offered on HSN, is that HSN grossly charges for shipping. They charge like $4 per item. I think it's ridiculous because we all know that they can put it in a flat rate box. So if you order 5 things, they're not paying $25 in shipping, and we know that. So I find that personally offensive. But there are many sites that are not doing that and charge a reasonable rate for shipping. So please make sure that you're checking those prices because I have not received one Alley order, I told you, except for Alina. Not one. Not one has come in, y'all. Now, if they come in, it's going to feel like Christmas. But I don't want you in my position where you've put out all this money and you don't have any of your dyes. And don't forget, for instance, I pre-order my dyes as a plan. So like when I knew I was swapping with Heather, because I preset my swap schedule in advance. So I knew I was doing a swap with Miss Judy, with Miss Heather. I knew I was doing it with Kayla. I ordered their dyes from Alley, but they never came. So I had to replace their goodies, right? So I'm just letting you know that, so that you don't end up in my situation where not only do you not have the dyes, if you're ordering them as goodies for swaps, you're going to have to go out and rebuy them again. So something just to think about. I'm certainly going to continue ordering from Alley, but I'm very cautious about which shops I'm ordering from. I did just place an order for a couple of items from Alina, but my Alina stuff has been arriving. So I feel more confident that I will eventually get it. It's just a little friendly crafter to crafter info share because, it can be really upsetting. Like, I don't mind waiting 2 months for things to come. I really don't. My problem is I'm at the 4-month point and no dyes, and I really did have to replace my swap goodies. So just something for y'all to think about. The other thing I want to show you is that, okay, so I love making these yarn tassels. I told y'all this is something I do enjoy making, although the next one won't have a heart on it. I like it better without the heart. I like it just au naturel. But I made a mistake, y'all. I did. Because of the Alley problem, I can't get my regular pom-poms that I use to make these. So I bought the overpriced Hobby Lobby beaded pom-poms. And they were like $8 for a small pack. you got a whole lot less. Like in the BB Craft pom-pom charms, those fancy tinsel charms, you get over 80. Okay, nowhere near that in this pack. Okay, and the center is far too thin if you're making yarn tassels. I was able to finally get it through after a lot of work using my bookbinding needles, but there is no way I'm going to use these for these tassels. It took me longer to get the yarn through than it would take me to make like 15 tassels. It's ridiculous. These are probably the worst thing I've bought in a long time. Now, they will work for embroidery thread. So like Carmen made me these beautiful tassels out of embroidery thread. They'll work for that. But if you, like me, wanted, like I bought yarn in spring colors for my swabs, I'm not going to be able to use these. Now, what you can do is do it crafty kimchi style. What she did was she got nice fluffy pom-poms and she used the needle just like I showed you, and she just sewed them through, and that worked. Unfortunately for me, my regular pom-pom supplier is on Ali, and I'm not getting any Ali orders, so I don't want to order from there. And when I look at Hobby Lobby and I look for pom-poms, they don't show the breadth of what I know they have in the store, and they don't on Michael's either. So I'm going to have to find another pom-pom supplier. If you know of a good one, please let me know. Please let me know. You saw Miss Donna got my surprise Happy Meal from my scrapbook cabin. I learned about them from Elisha Hayes. Elisha Hayes did a lovely order for crinkled seam binding. And I know it seems really weird to send Donna Dream seam binding. I'll tell you why. When she was doing the tutorial, she said that the one she purchased was that really rich sort of tealy emeraldy green one because she didn't have a dye that in that kind of deep jewel toned color. And that made me think that she probably didn't have a lot of jewel tone dyes or inks at all. And that's why I ordered her that pack, so that she would have them. That way she doesn't have to invest in another block of dyes or inks. I do think that my scrap cabin makes beautiful seam binding. I also think her customer service is amazing. She put in that little note to Donna free of charge. And whenever I order something from her, and Heather had the same experience, she always throws in a little something for free. So I'm going to put her Etsy shop down below. I'm a big fan of this lady. I think she's terrific. And she packaged up Donna's gift so nicely, and I just really appreciated it. So I think she's a great local supplier for us, and she does not overcharge y'all at all for her seam binding. So she's a great resource, and she's local, and she ships fast. So I love to share that sort of thing with y'all. You must have also seen the beautiful cards that Donna Dreams made for our angels. So this is a great time to remind you that we are looking for cards for our angels. They traditionally supply us with all sorts of crafty goodness. We've given away in the last 18 months more than 10 die cutters, thanks to these folks. More than 10 die cutters. Yeah, it's amazing. And then when we had the COVID crisis, they switched gears and sent food not just to Kayla, not just to Pat, but to other people. And they sent necessities like gloves and rubbing alcohol and hand sanitizer to people like myself and others who needed it. And masks. Now we are in need of masks still for Belinda Barton and Margaret from Florida. But we're waiting on some elastic. I ordered Kayla elastic 3 weeks ago, Kayla, almost 4. And she still doesn't have it. Now, I think this supplier who said they were local is not. I'm starting to wonder if they're really from China, because it's taking forever for Kayla. I ordered her a huge amount of elastic, and it has not arrived yet. So Belinda and Margaret, we're very sorry. Be patient with us. Your masks are going to be remade. We are going to figure this out. This is also a good time. Miss Pat Sweeney asked me to thank the angels for everything you did for her. And it's a special thank you, and I'll tell you why, y'all. Y'all know that, when we're going through the COVID crisis, we don't want Pat leaving the house. Pat, like me, is without her medicine right now. So I'm off my immunosuppressants because I have to go outside of the apartment because my husband isn't here. And when I'm on my immunosuppressant, it makes me particularly vulnerable to catching everything and anything. Pat's the opposite. She's off her medicine because she can't go to the hospital to get it. So we don't want Pat leaving the house at all, if possible. At all. It's a safety issue. So everyone was great during the initial crisis. Everyone rallied and sent Pat food. But then she got last minute notice that in her state, they're canceling disability and social security checks. So the angels came through and sent her some supplies. She's particularly grateful for the cat food. Thank you for not forgetting about her boys. and for making sure that they had food this month. I just want to do a little reminder though, because we are doing a special mail out to Miss Pat for this month's Crafty Love Challenge. I also want to remind you, she's without a check all month, y'all. So if you're doing the Crafty Love Challenge and you're making Pat some stuff and you are able to safely go to the post office or you have click and ship, any non-perishable food item would be greatly appreciated. The angels have done magic. Please don't misunderstand me. They've made a good dent in our problem, but we have to somehow find a way to feed Pat for the month, not just for a couple of weeks. So I'm just doing a little reminder, y'all. Pat's going to say, no, no, no. Everyone's already been so good. I know what Pat's going to say. But the reality is that we can't have her going outside to a food bank. We just can't. It's not safe for her yet. She happens to live in an area that has very high numbers for her state. In general, her state has very low numbers, but Pat happens to live in an area where the numbers are high. So let's work together to keep her safe. I know Miss Bertha Blessed Wilson is making some thank you cards for the angels because she was recently very blessed by the angels. And I know Michelle Bastien also was recently very blessed. We are very fortunate to have these women in our lives. There are 11 of them, and I don't know what we would do without them. So thank you, Miss Donna. Thank you so much for making those beautiful cards. They are spectacular, girly. Can you tell me what that dangly lace is called, Donna? The one I love so much? I want to know what it's actually called in the way that you taught me what Venice lace was. Well, that's it for my news and newsy little update. I have a bunch of things on the go today. I have Heather and Kayla's swap that I'm working on. My swap with Cruz is a little bit different. We're only making one item. We're actually buying each other odd things for an embellishment box that we feel the other person would want but wouldn't buy for themselves. So we only have to make one item. But for Heather and Kayla, I am doing a swap and I'm doing some flat mail with Soleil. Now my fear is, as you all know, I've already sent her 2 packages and she hasn't received one. So even if I mail her flat mail this month and I know she just mailed me hers, she may not get it for 3 months. So that's a little heartbreaking. That's a little heartbreaking. And I do need to redo poor Miss Janet Kay's contest entry. Very kindly, Janet reached out and asked me if she should hold the draw because my entry's lost. And I said, absolutely not. I couldn't care less about the prize. I only care about supporting Janet. So I'm just going to redo it. And I don't know if it'll go in this Saturday's mail out. I'm just reminding y'all, I only mail Saturdays and I can only put in my shopping cart what I can manage to pull. And it is hard for me to walk with the 2 masks and my breathing issues. So once that cart's full, it's full. And Jelly Bean and Carmen take priority because they've been getting their swaps in eeks. So every week I try to mail them something and that way they'll get everything. So they get priority. But I will try, Janet, to get it out this Saturday. And yeah, so that's what I'm sort of working on. I've got a bunch of swaps that I'm working on and I'm trying to finish Miss Judy's book. Now, the funny thing about the book is that I work on it every day, but it's not the kind of thing you can work on for 6 hours, or at least I can't, because my hands get tired and then I'll make a mistake. But I do work on it every day. I do. So I have that to work on too. And I have a bunch of embellishments I'm doing. So, and also I'm designing a little Happy Meal something, which you'll see. Some Happy Meal did get out this week. You saw Joanne received hers. I am doing my best on Saturday mornings. I'm trying to spread it out so that it gets to everybody. Not everybody does a video or an Instagram post, but I will tell you that every week I do mail out something to somebody. And that's my way of brightening everybody's day. And that's something to think about, y'all. Even just a card can make someone's time feel so much more buoyant. And I was saying to you this week that Lizzie's going through a really tough time. Susan Althouse is going through a hard time. Suzanne Noco's been going through a hard time. And Belinda Barton too. So it wouldn't hurt, y'all, if you got time to make a card, to drop those ladies a card in the mail. I know they'd really appreciate it. All right. Wishing for you a happy and crafty Wednesday. I will be back on tonight with the ATCs. And until then, I'm going to go back to making, y'all. Oh yeah, it's crafty day. Bye for now.